Hi, you can call me Giselle. Before we begin, let me tell you a little more about myself. My undergraduate wasn't in education. Right after college, I worked for a TV station. I have tried producing different kinds of shows. I also tried to be production manager for film and music videos. And then I realized I wanted to teach. So I took up broadcasting to be able to teach college students. And while I was enjoying attending classes, I got so interested with audience studies. I was already planning to make a thesis about it when I remembered how I am really fascinated with people. How people think, how people learn, how people are connected. And I believe this fascination led me to taking units from the College of Education as a broadcasting student. Until eventually, I took another entrance test to transfer to the college. Why am I telling you this? It's just to let you know that I will be coming from a perspective of a teacher who has a background in communication arts and a teacher who has experience producing multimedia materials. Today, I will be sharing with you how we can design our materials for our online classes based on my experience in media, educational psychology, and teaching art. This is not a how to session. Instead, I will be sharing with you ideas and tools that I have used before. So, I think most of us are asking how or where do I begin? I'm not a tech savvy teacher. I'm not computer literate, or I'm good with computers, but how do I teach music, PE, or art online? I had the same feelings. That's why I chose first day of school. Why? Because when I was trying to define what I was feeling, I remember it was the same feeling that I felt when I was just starting to teach. I realized I had almost the same concerns and apprehensions as before. Do you remember your first day in school? Or the first day that you had your class? I remember mine. Even the days prior to my first day, I was so anxious, I was so nervous. I had knowledge about different theories and strategies, but I know that it will not be sufficient. But eventually, I was fine. I made it. It's actually my seventh school year now, and I'm enjoying it so much. Um, where am I going? I'm just trying to say that I think in every beginning, there are really a lot of questions, a lot of apprehensions, a lot of fears. But if we strive to work hard to learn, it will be better. It will be better. So the first thing I tried to figure when I was starting to teach was my role. I know that I'm going to be an art teacher, but I also know that as a teacher, we have so many other roles. And somehow, we know that timings for these roles. And currently, our role is to design our students' classes. But this time, it will be a little different because of a different platform. One of my favorite professor in UP, my thesis advisor, Dr. Grace Koo, wrote in one of her article that teachers do not just teach the subject, they are teaching students. Like what I said, we have so many roles and different timelines. But I think what is common in every role is that we do it for our students more than ourselves. And currently, as designers, our focus will be to design the best learning experience for our students. In theater, film, and television, when an artist is given a role, he or she does a characterization of the role, studies how he should speak, studies how he should react, studies how this person stands, what he wears, how he smells. And if you realize, we are a lot like these performers too. We have a teacher's voice. We a kinder teacher's voice is different from a coach or a high school teacher. Where am I going? Since we are shifting venues, somehow our roles might be new to us. But we can always study our roles. In Xavier, where I teach, once the school year starts, the role of art, music, and PE teachers will be more focused on letting them learn life skills, allowing them to be more physically and mentally healthy also. Ideally, help them be less stressed and be more motivated to go online for their classes, which I think is the most fitting role that we can have this time. Now is the time to help them be more creative and free in a sense that they can choose materials that they have depending on what they have at home. Uh, to extend their creativity when they try to learn how they can substitute the materials that they don't have, or most importantly, I think, is to try to learn how to really express themselves using the arts in real life situations. I think the goal is really to let them enjoy authentically the processes. After knowing our roles, we determine our goals. Some teachers, when asked about their goals, it is always teacher oriented, meaning we almost always say, my goal is to be able to teach, or to be able to impart, or other synonyms for teach. But I think it has always been very important that we make our goals about learning. We know this, although sometimes we don't give much focus, that our goal should be something like for my students to learn, or for my students to discover, and all other synonyms of learn. But seriously, this should not be just in words. It is important that when we design, we focus on how our students can enjoy it, how our students can understand it more, instead of teaching, how can I teach this? Or what's fun to use for me? Our focus should be their learning experience and not our teaching experience. Now, as an art teacher, my goal could be yours too, is for my students to experience art production, art connection, and art appreciation. This is actually the same goals that I have for face-to-face classes, but if you see, it's general. So the question is, how do we do it during online classes? How do we let them experience these three while making sure it's not burdensome? Because remember, our role now is to somehow ease the stress that they're having. In the same way, we'll be asking ourselves, how should I create or present material so that our students' learning experience will be great? that in their experience, they will be able to visualize and connect different perspectives. How can I design the materials to let them discover appreciation and motivation to respond? I'll be sharing with you tools that we utilize in class for these three. But before we start, let's just review some terms you probably know already. But to be sure, synchronous and asynchronous activities. So, there. Synchronous are the activities that we do together in real time using a virtual environment. Asynchronous is the opposite. They occur at any time. Now, in art, um, I don't think we'll be given as much time as they will give other subjects. So, ideally, if we can, we try to connect our synchronous activities to our asynchronous activities. For example, maybe during your synchronous activities, you can do modeling or try to teach them how to do something. But also, you can create activities that they like more, like some games or trivia games. Let's try it. Get a pen, a paper, or get a phone. Or if you don't want to get anything, you can try it mentally. Ready? For 20 seconds, I need you to think of as many ways that you can use or make out of this box. Go. Okay, time's up. Okay, look at your list. You have, look how many you made. Okay. According to studies, okay, most teachers know that our left brain are for logical thinking. And unfortunately, some think that we do use the right brain for being creative, but it's actually not like that. We use both left and right brain when we are using or we are trying to be creative. Now, some people say that that she's an artist. She takes time, something like that. While it's true also for most or for some, studies also say that we can actually activate our creativity. And one way is when we move our eyes left, right, up, down, or just around. So if you want to try it, move your eyes around, move your eyes around. You're doing it around, around, around. After that, I'll give you another 20 seconds to do the same thing. Think of as many things that you can do or make out of this box. Go! And time! Okay, were you able to create more or were you able to create more unique ones? So, this is something that you can do during your synchronous activities. Try to make challenges for them. Do treasure hunting. And then maybe like, for example, this activity, after you give them the trivia, you end by saying, now find the box or find something that you're not using at home anymore and create something out of it, which is already art production also. And maybe the next meeting that you meet, synchronously, you try to ask them about, and hopefully it leads to art connection and even art appreciation. For synchronous and asynchronous activities, but I think leaning more on asynchronous, we can also use Seesaw. We use it in art class mainly as a portfolio. It's not really that blurry. I just blurred some for because of the names and the images of my students. But it's more than just a portfolio. It's we enjoyed this application so much. They can access their class portfolio through a QR code or a text code. For art production, we use Seesaw usually for making their works digital to be stored online. We took photos of it and then uploaded in Seesaw. We also use Seesaw for practicing or planning some of their works. For art connection, we use Seesaw for their reflection writing, which is not always literally writing words or text, or I mean typing texts. They can choose from different categories, like uploading images, videos, or recorded drawings, like this.
I learned that landscape will, will help me in making my mind creative.
Actually, I learned about this capability of Seesaw for my student. I didn't know that you can actually, you know, record your voice at the same time draw. So you can actually use it also for demos, right? For art appreciation, we use Seesaw for students to showcase their works and to be able to give proper criticisms to their classmates. If you see there are comments there, it's also where it's also a time where we can process things with our students. Sometimes we use this I use this for closing, for us to process what we learned today and how do we criticize properly. Seesaw also has a feature where you can publish class blogs where the works of the kids can be showcased to public. So depending to what you're allowed to share, and then you can just fix it in settings. Another way or tool that we can use is Padlet. It's an app used for collaboration. It can work as a bulletin board for announcements. There are a lot of layouts to choose from it. And designing for motivational impact. Ed psychology research has found that when it comes to our production or producing something, it is encouraged that we involve our students in goal setting. To clarify, it is not letting them pick topics that they like. That's under content. Often, setting goals with them is regarding speed, quality, or quantity. It could be when you let them plan how to create their work. And you can use Padlet's wall or canvas layout for planning or putting together ideas. Actually, any layout will do. For art connection, you can use the grid, or I think it's the shelf format to put together. You can fix things in a column. You can add images and links that are connected to each other. So there you can put the heading. Ask them what they feel for reflection too, or other things, and then you can put it there. For art appreciation, you can use the reaction icons. There are hearts, stars, and more. You can ask your students to put up artworks or ideas and then ask them to like or other layouts where you can ask them to comment and upload things too. Keynote or PowerPoint, usually use them for presentation. So you can also ask your students to use it to present to you and then share screen during synchronous activities. But more than just for presenting, we can actually use Keynote for art production, for post prod. Um, in our class, we use Keynote to animate their figure drawings. Nice. Okay. Um, it has a lot of amazing features. You can actually make um, GIF or videos out of it. Just try to explore it. From an offline tool, yeah, Keynote is an offline tool, so we can do it asynchronously. From an offline tool, we can actually use social media platforms like Instagram. We can use Instagram stories to encourage our students to create layouts and different graphic arts. Well, some of the students they already do it, so they just try to incorporate it because remember we're trying to make their experience more authentic. Um, we can also lead them to art appreciation by requesting them or sharing with them people that they can follow, inspiring artists. There are a lot of profiles there that are really very, very good, depending on their taste also. My personal favorite also is green screen. It's a paid app, but it's worth it. Primarily for art production. The idea is that since I tried doing television shows and films, when I learned about this app, I realized that we can use this app to put my students inside their painting by making their painting the background in the green screen. So it was so fun. Then I was amazed how students reacted in this activity. From art production, it was led to art connection, like this video.
What are you doing?
Um, I actually taught my students to creating green screens just using 2 layers. This student of mine connected things, figured out things, and tried to learn to use different more layouts because because his partner, because both of them wanted to be in a car. So the background is the painting, they add another layer for the car and then another layer to put themselves in the car. And then eventually, it I think it became art appreciation in a way because uh, when I started to do this activity, my students realizing this tended to finish their works in the same way they tended to think more outside of the box. Kasi before, they usually try to just do landscapes that are usual and or copy the landscapes that are made by their classmates. Surprisingly, after showing them how to do green screen, there were so much more ideas, so much more places that they created. So hopefully, more than the fun that they experienced, they actually really had connecting and visualizing and appreciating things. Canva is a graphic design platform that allows users to create social media graphics, presentations, posters, and visual content. Um, it seems easy. Oh, I already have a. I just have to change the text, but mainly it's art for art production because of that because it can help you create things. But it could also be very helpful for art connection when you try to make them realize how we can use different elements of art and principles of design, how they can use these tools to make a point or to use for promotion. It's not just to lead them not to just change the text or just copy what's there, but to help them combine things, combine ideas to create better ones. Yeah, there are a lot of things that you can do there. Yeah, there are a lot more tools out there. A while ago, Mrs. Darius talked about virtual field trips. There are also a lot of 360 art museums where we can bring our students. Our very own National Museum has one. So the more challenging part actually is knowing why you will put these tools together. Um, in marketing, there are four P's. I think you're also familiar with this one. Product is the material they're selling. The price is how much it costs, or the marketing they do so that it will look appealing. So instead of doing it 200, they do it 199, or buy two, take one, stuff like that. Um, Place is where they place it, the material, the what stores do they choose? Do they have partnerships, or is it only for membership? Promotion is how they try to design, or how they plan the placements, the price of the product. Now, why am I telling you this? I was trying to connect four P's of marketing to what we're trying to do now. Because I see that in online classes, we need marketing communication. Since there will be so much distractions, it is very important that we get their attention and that they buy our product. Simply because we know that it was specially made for them. But I think for teachers, the four P's are our product is our lessons. The price is how much we actually want our students to value it. Is it just for presenting, or is it just for practice, or is it something that you want them to put much effort into? Place is what the tools that you can use where you can place your lessons. Keynote, in a video. Promotion is how we design, literally, our materials. Speaking of design, like, our teachers know very well how to use art to convey different messages. I think you have attended a lot of online meetings and or synchronous activities. And you know very well how easily we can departmentally, like, shift your web to another place or do other things. And the same way, our students can feel and do the same. And when we do them, when they lose their interest, it's not in the classroom that we can actually see it. But as our teachers, yeah, I'm biased. We can design our presentations well. Well, I know all teachers can, and it takes effort and studying too. So I'll just review you with some elements of art and the hidden meanings that we can use in creating our materials. Um, like what I said, for example, you're in an online meeting or in a synchronous activity, and then your speaker starts to do screen sharing. It's all text. It's all text, and then on your side, outside there, you hear TV, you smell food. You just can't focus on so much text. So we try to use images more. Now, if you really need these texts, that's what I could, well, like what I did here. I try to design the text themselves. You can do that. Okay, one difference between color and monochromatic photography is in black and white, you suggest, in color, you state. There's also a study that if an image is monochrome, we tend to look at it more. So with activities with our students where we want them to try to suggest stuff, you can do monochromatic images or telling stories, or if you just want them to see it as it is, you try to manipulate their brains and you use colored materials. Okay, it's a lengthy text. I tried to design it, but I don't know if it's effective. Visual literacy is usually done in our classrooms, but now is very important. The designs that we put, yeah, again, especially when we do screen sharing, to get their attention. Lines, vertical lines imply strength and power. You look up to them. Horizontal lines show tranquility, rest. Curved lines also imply sensual feelings. Oblique lines imply movement or action, change. And again, a horizontal line is rest or tranquility. In texture, rough texture is usually connected to toughness or to males. The smooth ones are usually connected to softness and females. Triangle implies stability, power, and energy. At the same time, it shows conflict and nervousness when you do it upside down. A circle, we know that it symbolizes no end, no beginning, completeness, forever, unity. Also implies movement. A square shows equality, conformity, or stability. Colors, monochromatic colors are the colors that are the same but have different shades. Analogous colors are the ones beside each other. They are usually used when you want to show getting along, or but it's not disturbing to the eyes much. Complementary colors show contrast. They have the colors opposite each other. So you can use this in doing your texts too. Warm colors are usually associated with fire, sun, blood, life, or warmth. Cool colors are associated with ice, snow, coolness. So, why did we review this? Again, we want to exhaust all effort to make our students' learning experience at its best. From different tools to actually designing our works for them, since we can. The Harvard Business Review defines a professional as someone who knows what, knows how, knows why, and cares why. I like this definition because it's very close to how professional a teacher is. Someone who always strives to know what, how, why, and cares about it. Not only regarding to lessons, but also for our students. if something happens to them, we always know what happened, how it happened, why it happened, and we try to help them because we care about the whys. So that next time, oh, okay, this happened because um, when every time it rains, there's no internet. So maybe next time I can do this. We try to adjust for them because we are professionals. In a book that I saw also written by my professor, Dr. Ku, I saw there she quoted The Courage to Teach. It asked, how does the quality of my selfhood form or deform the why I relate to my students, my subjects, my colleagues, and my world? Um, we know this as teachers that more than anything, our why is the reason why we are trying our best. I'd like to end here. I appreciate this matrix because the matrix shows two valuable factors that we need to consider now that we are doing online classes. Bandwidth is the amount of data that can be transferred from one point to another within a network in a specific amount of time. Immediacy refers to how quickly we expect our students to respond. When designing our lessons, we can use this matrix to jumpstart, like putting together the lessons. What lessons are not immediate? What tools does not need high bandwidth? Or then you put it here, and then oh, okay. So in this lesson, I can use this tool, as it's not really. I don't need products right away. Something like that. In doing art production, art connection, and art appreciation, it's something that you collaborate with what you know and what you know about your students. It's something that you collaborate with your why, with their whys. So as we create our materials, let's not forget that it's designed for them by you. Thank you. Thank you for staying with me. So this is the time for me to answer some of your questions. Uh, there, okay, there are a lot of you who are asking about the list of the apps that I shared. So it's Seesaw, Padlet, Keynote, PowerPoint, Instagram, Green Screen, and Canva. I'll be sharing with you the presentation, so you'll see the list there also. Um, okay, these tools are free except for green screen. But I forgot to mention a while ago, we can also use the green screen idea when you do Zoom. If you're using Zoom as your platform, you can ask your students to do their painting, and then after some time, schedule a day where you can use your painting as their background for their Zoom meeting. Something like that, maybe. Uh, Easy for beginners. I teach kids, grade 4 students, even grade 2 students tried Seesaw and Padlet already. I think these apps are good for beginners. Seesaw, Padlet, we'll be sharing with you the links later. We'll be posting it in the comment box. Is Seesaw free? Yeah, it's free. Oh, I noted here a while ago. Thank you for those who participated for the activity of the shoebox. So there you can try that too. Okay. Best application that I can recommend. I think these are all the good ones that I've chosen. These are all that I use in class. My all my favorites. But maybe if I'll choose one, probably Seesaw because you can use it as your portfolio also, and then you can use it for activities also. Then it's easy for beginners, and you can do it synchronously and asynchronously. So maybe Seesaw. What else? Please type in your questions in the comment box so that we can at least share with each other. Or maybe you can share something. How do I grade their works? So that. Rubrics. We have rubrics. So it's more than numbers. It's description. Me personally, when I grade, I put together the works, and then else. Okay. Um, I'm no longer seeing specific questions. It's all more on knowing how to do the apps or how to learn it. So we'll just put in the comment box the links to those apps. At the same time, I'll put there my email address so you can directly contact me for questions. It's fine. So I think that's it. Please stay because you'll surely learn from our next speaker. Um, I think he'll be teaching math. So enjoy. Thank you for staying.